Welcome to This Explainer. If you've ever cared for a loved one dealing with cognitive decline, you already know the drill. Your daily life can just become this sprawling, complex maze of medical appointments, safety worries, and massive emotional hurdles. Today, we're cutting through that chaos. We're going to take this totally overwhelming experience and break it down into manageable, truly actionable pillars of well-being that you can actually start using today. Let's kick things off with a pretty staggering number. In the United States alone, there are over 11 million Alzheimer's and dementia caregivers. So if you're on this journey, I want you to know you are part of a massive, though often invisible, army of support. That's 11 million people waking up every single day trying to balance their own lives with the very real needs of someone they love. You are absolutely not alone in this. Now, while caregiving is obviously an act of deep, profound love, let's be real. It carries an incredibly exhausting weight. And it forces us to stop and ask a really crucial question. Who is caring for the caregivers? Who's looking out for you? Because the hard truth is, if your physical and emotional well-being starts to slip, both you and the person you're caring for are going to suffer. To bring some order to this chaos, we're going to explore 4 specific pillars of well-being today: managing the emotional weight, protecting your physical health, unlocking caregiver tax benefits, and finally, building your support village. Okay, let's dive right into Pillar 1, managing the emotional weight. This is where we take a deeply empathetic look at the complex, often overwhelming feelings tied to caregiving, stuff that so many people silently struggle with. Have you ever heard the term anticipatory grief? Usually, we think of grief as something that hits us after someone passes away, right? But anticipatory grief happens way before that loss occurs. It essentially normalizes the anxiety and the sadness you feel as your loved one's health slowly shifts, or maybe as their personality changes, or when they just stop doing the things they used to love. Just acknowledging that you are actively grieving these changes in real time, that can be incredibly validating. And, this kind of stress physically and mentally manifests long before an actual breakdown happens. It's so important to spot the early signs of struggle. We're talking sudden waves of hopelessness, constant tension, maybe snapping or feeling uncharacteristic anger toward the person you're caring for, or even just totally blanking on your own appointments. Recognizing these signs without an ounce of shame is your first line of defense. You really want to catch this before you hit a total crisis point. There's a quote here from family members who have actually walked this path, and it hits the nail on the head. Navigating these negative emotions, especially guilt, is completely normal. It is absolutely okay to feel angry or frustrated that your life got flipped upside down. Taking time to adjust to a diagnosis and fiercely guarding time for yourself isn't selfish. Actually, scratch that. It is an absolute necessity for your survival as a caregiver. All right, moving on to Pillar 2, protecting your physical health. Let's pick up the pace of it and look at some highly proactive ways to physically protect your body from the daily grinding toll of caregiving. Just look at the stark difference in physical risks between bad body habits and good body mechanics. Relying on bad habits like bending awkwardly over a bed or lifting entirely with your lower back is a recipe for disaster. I mean, it literally takes one wrong move, like leaning over to tie a shoe, to pop a muscle and be totally out of commission. You have to adopt good body mechanics. Always lift with your legs, widen your stance, or use a mechanical assist like a Hoiler lift. It is absolutely essential for your own safety. And here's the best news. You don't need a fancy gym membership or an hour of free time to stay strong enough for this. Doing just 30 seconds of targeted exercises during odd moments of your day can literally save your back. Doing partial squats while holding the kitchen counter, waiting for your toast to pop? Perfect. Stretching your hamstrings while sitting through TV commercials? Great. Or just squeezing your abdominal muscles tight for 10 seconds while you're stuck in traffic. These little micro habits build the core strength you need for a safe caregiving journey. Let's jump to Pillar 3, unlocking caregiver tax benefits. We are going to translate some dense IRS jargon into clear steps to help recoup your costs. Caregiving is a labor of love, sure, but it's also expensive, and you definitely shouldn't be leaving money on the table. The very first thing to grasp is the fundamental difference between a tax credit and a tax deduction. A tax credit is a real game changer because it gives you a dollar-for-dollar reduction on the actual tax you owe. A deduction, on the other hand, lowers your taxable income before the tax is even calculated. If your loved one qualifies as your dependent, you might uniquely qualify for both of these. Looking at the financial thresholds here, if you claim a relative as a dependent, you might be eligible for the credit for other dependents, which is up to $500. And if you're paying for care, like adult daycare or a home health aide, just so you can go to your own job, you might qualify for the Child Independent Care Credit. That one lets you claim up to $3,000 in caregiving costs for one person. Now, this part is fascinating. If your total medical expenses exceed 7.5% of your adjusted gross income, you can deduct them. And we aren't just talking about your standard copays and prescriptions. We are talking about unexpected out-of-pocket stuff. Did you have to widen doorways or put in a wheelchair ramp? Deductible. Did a doctor prescribe a wig because of hair loss from a treatment? Deductible. Even the medical portion of a long-term care entry fee or the gas mileage you use driving to appointments counts. So document the whole shebang like you're running a small business, and definitely consult a tax pro. Finally, let's look at Pillar 4, building your support village. We're going to see how you can shift from carrying this massive burden entirely on your own shoulders to empowering yourself by building a really resilient network. You know when friends ask, "Let me know what I can do," and your mind just goes totally blank? Well, here is a practical checklist you can hand directly to them. Give them tangible tasks. Ask them to run to the pharmacy for you. Ask them to come over and just sit with your loved one for 2 hours so you can go grab a coffee by yourself. Or honestly, sometimes the absolute best help a friend can offer is just engaging the person with dementia in normal conversation, treating them exactly like the person they've always been. Beyond your personal circle, you can really level up your skills with formal community resources. Jump into free online message boards like Alzi Connected. You can ask questions to people who are also wide awake at 3 a.m. experiencing the exact same things you are. Also, look into evidence-based training like the Savvy Caregiver program. It offers structured, real-world knowledge on dementia stages and behaviors. It's an amazing tool to transform you from a super stressed family member into a really confident, competent caregiver. So we've covered a lot of ground today in this explainer, from naming your anticipatory grief to protecting your spine, navigating tax codes, and drafting your village. But knowledge without action is just trivia. So I want to leave you with this one vital question. What is one small, immediate action you will take today to protect yourself? Are you going to stretch while the toast pops? Are you going to call a friend to run an errand? Whatever it is, do it today. Because protecting yourself is literally the only way you can continue to protect the ones you so deeply love. Thank you so much for joining me.